everyone, welcome to this presentation about persistent identifiers in ELAB FTW. I'm Nicolas Carpi, I'm the founder and president of DeltaBlood, the company who is editing the software ELAB FTW. So we're a company based in Paris, France, as you can also probably tell by my strong French accent. And our flagship software is, of course, ELAB, a free and open source electronic lab notebook, which is used in many institutions over the world. And at its core, it's really a place to gather all the scientific results that are produced in a research lab. It is used in many disciplines. And it also features an inventory management system which allows lab to store resources. And so what we call resources in ELAB would be things like plasmids, chemical compounds, antibodies, cell lines, samples, many different things. There is also a booking system, an advanced permission system, and a responsive design that is also compliant with the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. And we are proud to have a secure and audited code base. And we created also in 2022 the ELN consortium to promote interoperability. And this is where we created the ELN file format. ELAB is also translated in many languages thanks to our community of users all around the world. And it is a truly open source software, meaning that 100% of the software is accessible under an open source license. Regarding the PIDs in ELAB FTW, it started back in 2012, and I found that first commit in the commit log of myself introducing the PID, the first PID in ELAB FTW, which I named ELAB ID. Not a super original name, but it gets the point across. So ELAB ID basically look like this, and it still looks like this because it is still present in the application. I don't really recall why I wanted to have a persistent identifier in ELAB, but I guess it made sense, and nowadays it still makes sense, of course, obviously, so that you can reference your experimental results with a persistent identifier that also happens to be unique. So basically it has enough entropy to make it globally unique. The chances that someone else has this exact ELAB ID are close to null. It also has the date in front. So as you can see, it starts with the date here. This makes it also sortable, which is pretty useful, for instance, if you use this ELAB ID as the folder name of the raw data that corresponds to this entry in the ELN. If I had to make that choice again today, I would probably use the UUID v7, which is similar to the ELAB ID in the sense that it starts with the timestamp. That's the ELAB ID back in 2012. Next, in 2022, so that's when I created the ELN consortium with Stefan Brinkmann from the research center in Jülich in Germany. The ELN consortium idea was to improve the interoperability of ELN software. To do that, we created a file format that is the .eln file, which has its media type at the IANA, so it's a properly declared file format. And it is based on the EROCrate, which itself uses JSON-LD metadata. We basically took the EROCrate and defined a way to put it inside a zip file. We didn't reinvent the wheel. When I added the possibility to export your data from ELAB into an ELN archive, I also added the ORCID for users. And this identifier, we use it in the JSON-LD metadata that is exported in the EROCrate as the identifier property of the person object. And so this is an example of a person node in the JSON-LD with the identifier that is basically just the URL with the ORCID. Also, the root node of the crate, so the node defining metadata about the crate itself, has a UUID v4 identifier. In ELAB, you have the possibility to allow custom input fields, which can be defined at the template level. In the future, what we'd like to implement the research organization registry number. In this example, we can see the ARENA University. Another thing also that we are going to implement would be the generation of the UI through the DSpace API. So this is a work sponsored by the Goethe-Universität in Frankfurt. And they use DSpace, which is an open source software that allows you to store collections of data, and it can also interact with DUI services. One last thing I want to discuss would be this project that we started to have ELN.community, a website to deposit ELN, so templates, protocols, whatever, and the login is done through OrcID. So you can just log in through your OrcID and then you deposit a .eln file which contains your protocols, your templates, your data, your whatever. The idea, of course, here is not to have the ultimate place to push your data, but rather a way for users of the ELN system, or any ELN system, and not necessarily only lab, to have a place to find example of data. This is something that users are asking a lot, like to have a get started thing, so something to get started basically. So that's all for me, because it was, I think, a very short 7-minute meeting, and so I will be here online for taking questions. See you, bye.